Good evening and welcome to Bronx Talk. Now, first tonight, we're going to do a short history lesson about one of the most important social service organizations in the Bronx. I'm talking about BronxWorks. BronxWorks was founded as the Citizens Advice Bureau in 1972. In fact, we did an edition of Bronx Talk on homelessness that included CAB's services in February of 1995, way back then. They converted to BronxWorks in 2009, and this has become a broad social service agency that serves 60,000, yes, that's 60,000 people a year. Tonight we're going to focus on the workforce development section of BronxWorks programming, specifically with an ingenious Train and Earn Health Careers program, and also a much needed, for a variety of reasons, weatherization training program. So please join me in welcoming to Bronx Talk the BronxWorks Associate Vice President of Workforce Development. It is Marie Edwards. Nice to have you with us.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Edwards. And
Thank you for having us.
The BronxWorks Program Director of the Train and Earn Workforce Development. It is Deshana Hamid. Nice to have you with us, Ms. Hamid. Let's just start with you, Ms. Edwards. Let's talk in general about BronxWorks' commitment to youth workforce and youth workforce development. The Work, Learn, and Grow Employment Program covers a lot of things. Tell us all about it, and then we'll break it down and talk about the individual programs we just mentioned.
Well, BronxWorks, within the Workforce Development Department, we also have the youth workforce. But in speaking about BronxWorks, as you mentioned, yes, we've served over 60,000 people. We have multiple programs covering every range from daycare to community health.
I got the list
children
here.
in
Immigration services, benefits and other assistance, chronic illness, healthcare management, workforce development, supportive housing, services for older adults. I mean,
we
it goes
could go
on.
on. We could go on. That means there's nothing we don't cover, right? There's just practically nothing we do not cover. But within that scope of all those services, we have the Workforce Development Department. And within that department, we also cover youth workforce. So we, under the department, on the youth workforce, we also have the Summer Youth Employment Program, the Work, Learn, and Grow, which is an extension of the Summer Youth Employment Program, which is currently happening now for the summer youth. We also have our adult literacy programs that we offer as well.
I'm trying not to smile because these are the things, of course, that we need in the Bronx.
And our newest addition is our Train and Earn program, offering healthcare careers. My colleague Deshana Hamid is here as the program director. Obviously. So under the, Work, Learn, and Grow is generally a program that operates for us from October to March, where we have a lot of young adults coming in who are in high school, and they are offered internships or with us.
We can break that down. What's the philosophy behind the general idea that says, hey, now we need a program in this? And what is the philosophy behind all of that so we know why you're doing these things?
Well, the philosophy behind that is that in the Bronx, you have a lot of young adults, youth, right, who are out of school, out of work, young adults who need employment opportunities. Many times they can't access these employment opportunities or internship opportunities as they're called. So many times these services are things in which we then, as BronxWorks, we take an assessment of the needs of the community because we are Bronx-based, and we look at the needs of the community and decide what is important to the residents of this community. One of the things that's important is keeping young people employed, giving them training opportunities, being able to come into an organization like BronxWorks and be able to have access not only to resources within BronxWorks, but be able to really see full-fledged for those who are stationed with us at BronxWorks how a community-based organization is run. There are youth right now with us in our summer youth program who are outstationed at our workforce development department, right? They have an opportunity to see us in action in working with community residents and being able to say, oh, wow, I didn't know they do this, I didn't know they do that, because it's so ingrained in terms of the multitude of services that we have overall and connecting them to other services within the organization.
So when an individual connects with you, it's almost like the world opens up. And I want to, you use the word, we want to get them employment. I think the first thing is get them engaged, you know.
Getting them
You
employed,
really-
but getting them engaged
and
is correct.
Definitely getting them engaged. And I'm just going to, you know, you open up your window, you look out the window, and what you see, since the pandemic, especially after all the young people, all of us really, sat behind computers for 2 years, you know, instead of going to school, they really need to get out and
The
do stuff
in-person engagement.
because they kind of got out of that habit. And if, just for example, I'm just going to tell you, if you were 12 years old then, and those very important formative years between 12 and 14, you were sitting in a computer, you were talking to your friends, you really didn't do that kind of interaction. When they get to a program like BronxWorks, it's like, wait a minute, I can be great. I can have a job, right? I mean,
It creates and you're correct, the engagement is there. And everything for us, primarily since COVID, has been in person. We've always been an in-person organization in terms of engagement for young people, so as well as anyone else, right, within the community. But for young people, that in-person engagement is important, right? Because the fact is they get to interact with us, they get to ask us questions, they're able to engage with the staff at BronxWorks, they're able to engage, like through our summer youth employment program, if they're at a work site, they're able to engage with that employer partner and be able to tap into that as a potential career, right? Because we're looking at different industries that they can tap into that they may not have had access to before, right?
The statement, I think I pulled it off your website, that says BronxWorks provides these services to make the adjustment to working life seamless. So, and one of the things that I love from just learning about it, and we're going to do your program in just a moment, is that the notion that summer youth employment is almost like a prerequisite. If you come out of the summer youth employment, then you can go to the next level, because a lot of, in other places, if they do summer youth employment, they work in the park or whatever it is that they do, well, that's the end, then they go back to school and maybe they have better habits or not. But in this case, you say, you did that now, and that's, of course, how the world works.
It is a stepping stone, and I wish those opportunities were available when I was young.
Well, you're doing all right now.
Know, so
but yes,
for
I understand that very much.
these young people have a great opportunity where, for many, and I've heard this from even colleagues who have been doing the work that we're doing, right, where they said their start was in a summer youth employment program,
Well, of course.
right? And then the extension of that being work, learn, and grow, which is great to know that it doesn't end with, you know, summer, that it's going to continue through the fall into the next season, into the spring, which is great, right? Because it keeps them engaged from the summer, through the summer opportunities, through the fall, through the spring, and then work with them to, if they decide they want to obtain employment, we help them build their resumes, right? And we're building their resumes
all the way to getting
all the
hired.
ways, and giving them all the job
let's-
readiness skills that they need to be able to become marketable, employable out there
Yeah,
with
it's,
employer
productive
partners.
people,
Yeah,
productive,
and they have
adults.
us, so it never ends there. They can come back to us at any time for any type of services.
Ms. Hamid, thank you for waiting so patiently. I know you're
I
excited.
love listening to what we do. It's always a pleasure.
Let's just talk about Train and Earn, the Train and Earn Health Careers Program. What, again, the same kind of question. What was it in your heads? What was it in your mind that said we ought to create this? So now this is a new program, relatively new?
Correct, yes. So Train and Earn has been around for some time, but it's new to BronxWorks. And so the philosophy behind healthcare careers was looking at labor market information, seeing what was needed in the field.
And in the Bronx.
And in the Bronx. And healthcare is one of the largest growing industries in America, but also here in the city, as people are aging, as people are having babies, but we all need healthcare, right? And so it's a really viable field for folks to come in at a very entry-level situation and then really find their path towards a viable job.
Well, we're seeing the pictures, and what I really like, among the many things that I like, is that you already have them in uniform so that they, you know, personally become that.
Correct.
You know, even, I mean, uniform doesn't, you know, if you wear a baseball uniform doesn't mean you can hit the curveball. but certainly that, you know, gives them a start.
Yeah.
So when did it start? How long ago?
So this is our second year, with Train and Earn. And so we're starting a whole new cohort of folks. What's lovely about them being in their uniforms is it sets an expectation for how they will continue into their internship. So just to give you an overview, The program itself, there's occupational skills training part, obviously, so you learn.
And there's facilities that you work
Yes.
in, or you work in hospitals or elsewhere?
Yeah, so we have a training partner who does the hands-on training portion of this, ABC Training Center. And so they teach
It's on
them how to
Fordham
do.
Road. I just
Yeah.
walked by there just the other day when I was
Absolutely, yeah.
shopping.
They're well known in the Bronx, one of the best awarded companies to do this kind of work. So they provide them with hands-on EKG training so that they learn how to read the heart rates and all of those things. Phlebotomy, right? So they're pulling blood.
You know what? We have the certifications listed, so let's put those up, and then you can.
Oh, yes, please. Thank you.
Keep talking. So it's certified clinical medical assistance.
Yes.
Okay, and then you were just talking about phlebotomy and EKG.
Technicians, yes, correct.
Right.
So what's lovely about it, right? You have these two hands-on skills that are needed in many different areas that you'll need to have your blood drawn or you'll have your heart monitored. But also the administrative part of this goes much further than that, right? Because you can do admin in any part of healthcare.
And to be honest with you, if you do all those other things, you're going to need to, in this day and age, you better know how the administration works. or you're
Yes,
not gonna-
absolutely.
We had just put up the requirements for the program, and part of what we're doing, folks, and to me, it's very important that parents, of course, but young people also say, wait a minute, this is me, this could be me. So let's see, they need to be 18 to 24 years old. They need a high school diploma or GED. They're not currently enrolled in college, unemployed, and interested in healthcare.
Absolutely.
I'm just curious that of course, we would never want to discourage anybody from going to college. Does college fit, or you get them the training so then they can work for themselves and afford to go to college?
Sure. So
I'm just thinking out loud.
yeah, it is actually
trying
part,
to help our
part
young
of it.
kids do
Yes,
their thing.
absolutely. Part of what we offer is really intensive case management as well. So we sit with the young folks and we come up with an individualized service plan so that if they want to go back to college, we will help them to discover who's doing what, how to get financial aid. We'll walk them through all of that. We also do financial counseling at BronxWorks. And so they are not just kind of getting this certification and then out in the wild figuring it out for themselves. We're helping them to develop the skills to figure out whether college is what they want or need to do, whether they can achieve that, if they've had trouble with staying engaged with school in the past, because a lot of our young folks weren't necessarily that successful, especially those who are, with that pandemic moment. And so helping them to figure out whether that's the path or whether they stay in employment, how that looks for them. But yeah, college is definitely
real
a
life,
goal.
and we try to deal on BronxNet television with real life in the Bronx. A young person may go through high school, maybe their family is not that stable, maybe it is a single mom. We know that 10% of our kids live in shelters while they're going to school. So then when they graduate with a diploma or a GED, what's next? I'd love to go to college. I don't have a penny in my pocket.
Right.
It's not, the neighborhood's not right or whatever it is, and now they have a home. Now they have a future and a home.
Yeah,
Could we
absolutely.
all stand up and applaud, please? No, this really is. Now, how many young people are, and they're 18 to 24. It's very, very interesting. So these are very employable and capable people.
Yeah,
These
and
are
some
young
of them,
adults, really.
yeah, and some of them are running their own households. We have young
That's
parents
what I mean,
that are
yeah.
coming in and looking for something that's more than, just going to be a job. They want a career. They want something stable. They want 401ks. They want opportunities.
And you
this is
will work with them individually because,
Yes.
of course, one is not necessarily,
Not at all. Yeah, they're all
of
facing
course,
different
there's
struggles.
immigration issues now, of course. I mean, we all know all of that.
Mm-hmm.
If you would, Ms. Edwards, where does this fit into? This sounds like it fits like perfectly like a glove into what BronxWorks does.
It does, because as Deshana indicated, the fact is that healthcare is a growing field. And many times, young people don't know how to access these resources. And it's our job to really be able to bring that to young people and be able to help them understand that this is something that's achievable for them. It's realistic, right? As
And
you
then
mentioned about college.
You saw, I'm not on camera, but I was smiling. Yes, it's possible. This
Yes.
is, again, in terms of what I've been doing and what BronxNet has been doing, show people that in the Bronx, possibilities really do exist.
Our kids need it. The Bronx still remains the poorest congressional district in the United States. And with that said, there is a great need in the Bronx, a continual need, right? So
For
in
this.
order to give young people a stepping stone, they have to have access to these resources that are available, and they have to be realistic for them.
And
Right.
I'm going to go one step further, and they have to be with a quality organization that actually knows how to do this stuff. That knows how to
Correct.
get
And
it
that is
funded.
BronxWorks.
And know that's
Correct.
Oh, there's a flyer. We want to put that flyer up on the screen. So people, if you can quickly, you can get the QR code there.
Yep.
But this is exactly what they're doing.
Yeah.
Go
And they're
ahead.
and folks are placed. So after they complete their training, they're placed in internships, which is a really important part of this. Paid
Internships at St. Barnabas or Montefiore.
Correct.
Or,
And also with
or
smaller
Lincoln-
clinics and smaller doctors,
Yes.
because a lot of those people have also gone through trainings at places like ABC. We're seeing folks who have really lived this life and who are committed to giving back.
City MD
Yeah,
and those kinds
yeah,
of places.
Yeah, and even smaller, like family-run practices, right? Because we also want mentorship is a very big part of this. So we want access to the doctors, we want access to their stories, access to have them really meet with these kids or young adults, sorry, and have them learn how it is to run a business, right? And to do
And
all
if
of those
they've
things.
been through your program, now it's what was it? I saw a 6-month program. That's what we were talking about. 12 weeks of medical
12
theory and
weeks in there,
hands-on
yep.
training, 150-hour paid internship.
Paid internship, yes.
For folks who run those businesses, you're not going to get a better prepared person.
Correct.
Because they are going to have great desire. They're going to, et cetera, et cetera. It just makes total sense. Are there things that you look at for the future, or now the job is really to keep this going so that it survives well, or do you have other thoughts of expanding?
Well, as we
And I'm
look
going
at
to
the
add one
markets,
point
yeah.
afterwards. Go ahead.
Yeah, sure. As we look at the emerging needs, we will always be considering how we can support because one of the things, it's not only the participants that we serve, but also the employers
industry.
in the Bronx. Exactly. And so as they tell us those needs, which is how we'll come to weatherization in a moment, I think.
That's literally almost my next sentence. But the one
Yeah.
thing I wanted to say, which we didn't say, maybe it's understood and people in the Bronx know this, that healthcare is the largest industry in the Bronx. And the need for quality people, if you ever go to the doctor and you have somebody not really that friendly who works with you,
Yes.
you really would rather one of these young people
Yes.
from BronxWorks who will really take care of you.
Agreed. And part of that is also that they get career development training, so they're not also missing out on some of those soft skills and how to present well and interact with people.
Congratulations
Thank
on
you so
starting
much.
this very successful, very needed program. Now, having said that, the weatherization, this is a different thing. The weatherization program, I mentioned at the beginning, there's a number of reasons why it's good. Yes, we'll talk about the development for the young people, but doing things in an environmental way, looking at our neighborhoods, looking at our buildings, looking at our infrastructure, looking at our climate and everything else, to have people trained, our people trained. Tell us about the weatherization training program.
So within the weatherization training program, the intent is to attract people from the Bronx, people who are living within the low-income communities, and really saying you have access to a new career opportunity. A career opportunity that you may not have completely understood, may have been confused about, and not understand necessarily how it connects to your community and how you can have impact within your own community to be able to make change, both personally and professionally, right?
And when you say in your own community, I mean, all you got to do is go to City Island when it rains, and you can find out what flooding is like. But
Experienced
all
it
you got to
myself.
turn on the TV and see all over it. And even we had the
Just the other
subways
day.
got rained in.
Yeah.
On the, what was it,
Absolutely.
23rd Street the other day. That's the kind of thing we're talking about.
So we're talking about weatherization around, the energy efficiency with regards to buildings and installation and creating, better infrastructures within these buildings and homes, right? Because you have a number of people in the Bronx, and why this is so critical to people in the Bronx is the fact that low-income communities like the Bronx tend to spend more money financially around energy, right? And
Really?
it's very,
I had not heard that. That's fascinating.
it's very, I would say there's more of a discrepancy there, right? And many times it's because they don't know, or they don't have the knowledge base, or they don't have the understanding.
Or the places they live haven't made the commitment.
They haven't made the commitment because these buildings
Right.
are old, or their homes are old, and they don't understand necessarily how do I, help to make these changes.
I'm going to reach out right to young people. When you walk in your building and you see the grade that's in front, and if your building has like a C, D, E, or F, or or G or below, you walk through there every day. There is a solution to this, and that is having people know how to do it, and then, of course, get employment.
Well, the
in
intent is
industries.
also for it to be an opportunity, be it for young people or adults in general, really, right? You may have you may have transferable skills in another career that you're in, right?
Let's say you were in real estate. I'm just guessing. No,
It
no,
could
I mean
be-
you were in real estate, and
we
then you
have
know how the
seen-
process could work to improve the
It
buildings.
could be real estate. It could be someone who was a plumber. It could be someone who's working in, a field in which they look at it and say, what else can I do? How can I upskill? Right? And we're offering this opportunity in terms of providing them with building science principle fundamentals, being able to offer them that opportunity. We have 2 training partners that we work with who are offering the trainings, respectfully so. So one component is the building science principles fundamentals with one training partner, and then the other training partner is offering the OSHA construction component, right? So we have the OSHA 30 construction, we have the 10-hour site safety training, and then we have the 4-hour scaffold user.
I want to just reinforce what you said, because we had been talking about train and earn, which was really for young people, and this is really for adults.
This is for adults, but it can be for a young
Well,
person
of course.
too, right? But you're also looking at adults who are coming into our recruitment events and they're saying, how does this benefit me? I want to learn more. I want to have a better career. I want to build a career trajectory in a field
Right.
that sounds promising.
And I think, I'm going to tap into kind of the moral question that a lot of people are saying, well, wait a minute, I'm a plumber, for example, or maybe I'm in real estate, or I'm in a construction trade.
Right.
But I'm frustrated because I see things are going wrong. I'd love to do things the right way.
From an environmental
From
standpoint.
an environmental standpoint, there's nothing wrong with really caring.
Caring for your community, right?
Right. And so we have just some information I think we can put on the screen. There's career preparation, technical training, energy efficiency technicians, weatherization, field crew technicians.
Correct.
These are real jobs, folks.
These are real jobs.
Entry-level career opportunities in a green economy field. You can assess homes and buildings for energy waste, and believe me, there's plenty to look at in the Bronx, and implement measures to improve energy efficiency.
Absolutely.
And save money. These are all the things that are in this program. And then I'm just going to list what's here. Training on the necessary tasks to succeed, learning what recommendations to make and reduce energy waste. You can see all the other things there.
Absolutely. And our training partner, one of the training partners that's dealing with the building science has the on-site facility that they're going to be trained in understanding this. So they have the actual mock building.
It's like a mock building.
Yes,
Wow.
they have everything
Where
on
is
site.
that? I'm just curious.
It's not far. It's off the Bruckner.
There you go.
So we're working with the Association for Energy Affordability. That's one of our training partners. They're going to handle the building science principles. We, as BronxWorks, as the primary partner, we deal with the outreach, the recruitment, and engaging them and bringing them on and doing all the job readiness and the preparation. And in terms of that, also that includes, they must have a high school diploma at minimum, and if they have college credits, that's perfectly fine, or a college degree, that's perfectly fine. And then we also will TABE test them as well.
TABE
right?
what?
TABE. tape testing,
Oh,
which
I'm not unfamiliar with that.
so basically we're testing their literacy levels.
I see.
To make
So you
sure
know
that
where
this
they could-
career is something that is
We're
suitable
almost
for them.
out of time. Ms. Hamid, I want to bring you into the conversation. For you, this must be incredibly gratifying to watch people come into this program and achieve.
Yes, very much so. And it's really exciting because, as I said, we sit with them and talk about their career goals. We see that people want to go into the military with these skills. People want to go back to
fascinating.
college and do further studies in medical, to do a lot of maternal health has been coming up lately that folks are
Not
trying to get
surprisingly,
into.
in the Bronx,
Yeah,
of course.
exactly. And so, yeah, I'm very excited to see the career trajectory.
And this is
for them.
why, you know, we mentioned it earlier, why for employers, these are the people you want. They really want to do this.
Right,
They
exactly,
want to do it, and
exactly.
they want to do it for the right reasons.
Yeah,
And
it's pretty
again,
intense.
which I mentioned, think about when you've been in a, you know, medical situation, in a hospital or whatever, you really want people who care to be around you, and that's who these people are.
Absolutely.
All right, so then the same question for you. You love what you do?
I love what I do.
Why?
I love what I do because it has created a tremendous amount of impact, right? On the local level, on the borough level, we see the impact. And I think as a employee, you know, I've been with BronxWorks for many, many years, and I've seen the organization grow from a very small organization with you know, to the size that it is
Well,
now.
that's why I did the history to show that they didn't just show
And
up yesterday.
We didn't just show up yesterday, and
right.
I think there is so much more room for further growth.
We-
You know, and we will change as the community changes.
Yeah. I want to put the, we have the contact info. The Workforce Development main office is 550 East 142nd Street.
Correct.
And the contact that we have here, but just get over there, talk to people, pick up the phone. That's Andy Fricka. And so we'll say, Marie Edwards, thank you so much for
Thank
everything you
you.
do. Without you, what do we do in the Bronx? We would be totally lost. And Deshana, Hamid, thank you so much for everything you do. Say hello to all my friends over there.
Will do.
To
Will
Gianna
do.
and John and all my buddies over there at
Will
BronxWorks.
do.
We appreciate
Will
it.
do. And
Thank
thank
you
you.
so much.
Sure, that concludes tonight's program. We want to thank our producer, of course, Rebecca Hemick. We have a great BronxNet production crew. And really to you too. What we do here is about you and about opportunities for people in the Bronx. We'll see you next time. Good night.